Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Toni. Tips with Toni. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Toni. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Toni podcast. I'm Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. If you've been listening for a while, then you know that I don't usually have guests. However, this year I am changing that. I'm really excited to announce that I'm going to be having guests more frequently. We're going to start, I don't want to get over ambitious, but let's say every other week. This week's guest is Jason Rodriguez. He's a trainer in New York City. He's been doing this for a while, and he specializes in providing that individualized training care, kind of that one-on-one attention, and it's very much similar and aligns with what I do with my clients, with their nutrition. I believe in individualized care as well. So I wanted to bring him on. We talk about some really great stuff. It's very motivating, whether you've been exercising for years or you're just starting out. It's a great episode to listen to. So without further ado, here is the interview with Jason Rodriguez from Fitness Journeys, New York City. Hi, Jason. How are you?
How you doing, Toni? Great to see you.
You too. So Jason and I have connected through Business Networking Institute. We know each other from New York City, and I'm really excited to have you on, Jason. I want you to just start by telling people kind of who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your background.
Cool. Yeah, I own a fitness company, Fitness Journeys NYC. I do personal training in New York, predominantly at my studio on 57th Street between Park and Lexington. And I also do some in-house training. I teach boxing, and I just create an overall wellness plan for individuals to help them work out.
I love that. And you didn't always do that, right?
That's correct. In a prior life, I was an economics major, and I worked for JP Morgan. And I did a total transition of career, because I basically hated what I was doing. And slowly but surely, I transitioned to a field that I truly love.
I absolutely love that, because anybody who follows their passion is going to be happy. Even in the beginning, if it doesn't make money right away, I always tell people, follow your heart and it'll work out. And it looks like you're doing really well. So it obviously worked out for you.
It's true. I mean, I really believe that the mark of a man or woman's success is not how much money they have, but how much happiness they have in their life. And if you love what you do every day, then you're very successful.
100%. And it's really cool too, though, when you can still also make a living. While
of course. Yeah, that's part of it.
And it's like a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what style of training do you really focus on most? Because I know a lot of people focus more on like strength and cardio, and like, what do you do with your clients?
Well, there's a lot of classifications of training, right? So you'll hear about Pilates and yoga and strength training. But really, I look at the human body kind of like Legos, right? And what I want to do is a balanced approach for the individual. And training is about movement and resistance. And if you do it correctly, you create symmetry and you create balance in the body. And that's what I look to do with clients. So, depending upon their goals, I design the program around the individual. I also teach boxing, which utilizes the entire body. Mm-hmm. When you throw a punch correctly, you're using your whole body into every strike. It's like, it also incorporates balance, agility, cardiovascular. So I do that as well. But in the initial session, I basically want to find out as much as I can about someone's body. Mm-hmm. Because throughout anyone's workout journey, they're learning about themselves. They're learning what they're good at, what they need work at. So I do a full assessment. I'll assess their upper body strength, lower body strength, core strength, flexibility, agility, balance, posture. And depending upon their goals, we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's great. And I really like that you treat everyone as an individual. That's something that I do as well with my clients. And you use the key word that I love, which is balance, creating balance in the body. What would you say to that person that thinks that, like, and I don't know if you think this way, I don't think that this is true. Like, that thinks that, like, they have to have like a killer sweat session every single time they work out for it to be an effective workout.
Yeah, totally not true.
Okay.
Totally inaccurate.
We're on the same page.
Just think in terms of, your environment, right? I mean, if I put you in a sauna, right, you'll sweat like crazy. Does that mean you're working out? No, you're sitting in a sauna, right? So you're losing water, right? And salt, right? That's in essence what you're losing. Another thing is there was this fad, and I don't know if you're familiar with it, where people would wear those garbage bags, right? Or I've had clients literally show up to my studio in those garbage bag suits. So they sweat more because they think people have the misconception that they're literally sweating out fat. You're not sweating out fat. You're not.
Right.
You're not sweating out fat. You're sweating out water and salt, basically, right?
Yeah.
So in the ideal situation, you want optimum performance. So optimum performance means you're comfortable, properly hydrated, right? And you might sweat, and that's great, but you don't necessarily have to have this huge sweat. So that's actually a great question.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we're on the same page. You just said another word that I think we should definitely touch on, which is comfort. Mm-hmm. So how would someone assess? So, okay, we know that they don't have to be sweating profusely to have a crazy good workout, right?
That's
but
right.
We also don't want them going to the gym and just walking on the treadmill the whole time.
That's right. That's right.
So, like, how would you assess if someone's really getting, like, a great workout? Would you tell them to go outside their comfort zone? Would you use their heart rate? Like, how would you assess that?
Well, I use something called RPE, which I think I briefly had touched on before. And that stands for Rate of Perceived Exertion. And it has a scale. And I use the scale. Some people use 1 to 20. I use 1 to 10, right?
1 to 20 sounds very large.
Yeah. 1 to 10 is fine. And most people are used to 1 to 10. So if you were doing just simply saying, say Toni, you were doing some bicep curls, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, Toni, push it to an 8 difficulty level. Scale of 1 to 10, you pushing it to a difficulty level of 8, right? So then it's not necessarily 8 reps, but it's scale of 1 to 10 difficulty level, it's an 8. So that means maybe you could do 1 or 2 more, but it's very difficult for you. Mm-hmm. Now, if I say, Toni, push it to a 10, that's failure. So that means you could not do another rep. I have $1 million in my hand. If you do one more, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So I utilize RPE, and depending upon, what it is they're looking for, they should be failing at anywhere from 8 to 12 reps, 12 to 15, 15 to 20, depending upon what their goals are, right? Mm-hmm. So RPE, Rate of Perceived Exertion, that's creating body awareness around how they're feeling, right? So if I say, hey, push yourself to an RPE of 5, scale of 1 to 10 difficulty level, that's only a 5. Well, you're not really doing much there, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the sweet spot is pushing yourself to a 7 to 10 difficulty level on a consistent basis, and then you're going to be getting a great workout.
I love that. Once again, the fact that it has to do with the individual and assessing how they feel. And something you also said in the beginning, which is like, you really try to make people bring awareness to like who they are and what they're doing and like paying attention to themselves, which I think is so important because so many people just kind of are going about their life. Like they're listening to this podcast and they're driving and they have these ideas, but then they get to work and they go home and they take care of the kids and they forget. And so like you make them see not just that they're working out, but like that they're paying attention to like how they're working out and how they're treating their bodies. And I really, really love that.
Yeah, they're creating body awareness, right? Mm-hmm. So they're learning about their bodies. I'm learning about their bodies. Mm-hmm. And no one is feeling what you're feeling, right? Only you do. only you know how hard you're working, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I say go to a 10 and you pretend that you're failing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I won't know necessarily, right? But only you know. If something's hurting you, you've got to tell me.
Totally.
You know? So it's creating that body awareness, which is most important.
Yeah, I love that. I honestly, I mean, like, I'm sure people talk about it, but I don't hear about that enough.
Okay,
And
cool.
that's like the next step of individualized care. I think it's like, what I tell that with my clients who, like, some people, can eat like a gallon of ice cream and feel fine after. I know if I did that, I would be very nauseous.
Yeah, I'd probably be in the hospital, but yeah.
But like, some people can do it, and I'm just like, all right, well, if you can handle it. But I like to pay attention to how I feel and honor that. So
Yes.
I like to push myself, but not too much. But anyways, but yeah, okay. So that's really good. That's really good. What do you work with people that are like just getting started into exercise? You tend to work with people who are more on the athletic side, or
I work with the full spectrum. I've trained some professional athletes. I've trained, models and actors, and I've also people on a high fitness level, and I've also trained people just starting out, never worked out a day in their life. People who are extremely obese, extremely thin, wide spectrum. I love what I do, and I try to adapt people's lifestyle, right? We all know, right? I think I touched on this. We all know what we're supposed to be doing, but we don't always do it, right? Because we're creatures of emotion, not intellect. So, it's pleasure and pain, right? If we find something pleasurable, we'll do it. If we don't, we won't do it. So it's affiliating exercise with pleasure, right? And if you can do that, you'll do it more consistently. Just like healthy eating, right? If we affiliate healthy eating with pleasure, right, by enhanced health, and being happier about the way we look and feel, then we'll do it. But if we affiliate it with pain, we won't.
Absolutely. Now, I think what you do is really cool too, in the sense that you work with people on a smaller scale. Like, you do individualized training for the most part. And like, what would you say to someone who's intimidated by either going to the gym or working with a trainer? Like, there's a lot of fear behind that beginner person that's like knows they need to be working out and like has been maybe going to the gym, like going on the treadmill, going on the elliptical, not really seeing results. And we know that it's probably because they're not doing enough strength training, or they're not pushing their body, or whatever that is. But yet they have no base, they don't know form. They feel like it's intimidating to go to those, especially for females, right? To go to the squat rack, and like to go around where all the guys are and like go there. Like, what do you say to someone like that?
I really, my biggest suggestion is to find their comfort zone. Find a trainer that they're really comfortable with. I'm very fortunate that my studio is, it's very small. It's just going to be me and them in a room, and they don't have to be intimidated by anyone or anything. Right. And I think you reach a point in life where intimidation sucks. And I know it's hard, especially for women, walking into a gym, but you get to a point where you're going to have to be like, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go into the gym. I'm going to do my workout, and I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. That's it, because it's not about them. It's about you, and it's about getting better, a little bit better every day, and doing your best. And if you're walking in the gym worried about how you look to other people, or guys are annoying you or whatever, just get in your zone, man. Put in your headphones, do the best you can. And as far as, form is concerned, you know what? Get a trainer, work with them for a couple of sessions, learn proper form, and go from there. And then when you go in, if too many annoying people in the gym, right? Put your headphones in, put your hat down and get to work. That's it.
You're doing it for you.
Yeah, you're doing it for you. Nobody else. It's about you.
Totally. And something I will add to that is the more, especially if you do meet with a trainer and you learn proper form, I would say like the more you do it, the more you're going to get comfortable doing it. And then you're going to not feel intimidated. You're not going to feel like all the eyes are on you, or if they are, you're just like, you do your thing because you know what you're doing. And so I think with anyone, like they're always going to be scared to get started, but the best way to beat that fear is to take action. And so,
And if you want, I mean, if you learn proper form, exercise at home, in the mirror, watch yourself. And then if you look like you're doing it wrong, you probably are, right? And if you're looking in a mirror as you're exercising and it's just you, your mirror and your workouts, right? You could do so much with just your body weight training, maybe a couple of dumbbells and bands at your house, right? Work out at home, get comfortable, and then go to the gym and kill it there too, So, because it's about you,
Right. And it also doesn't even matter where you do it, just do it. Like,
that's right.
Yeah. Anything
Movement and resistance. Exactly. I don't care if it's only 10, 15 minutes a day. A lot of people, when they're starting out, they're like, well, I got to make my schedule. When should I work out? How should I do this? Right. And if it's somebody who's like, it's really out of their comfort zone, out of their schedule, I'll be extreme and I'll say like, work out every day or 6 days a week. Right. Not for any length of time. I'm talking about 10 minutes.
Right.
Dedicate 10 minutes a day for your body. Maybe you meet me twice a week for that hour workout. But besides that, give your body 10 minutes. I don't care if it's really some light cardio and just stretching or just a couple of basic strength moves in your house. Once it's a habit, if you're doing it every day for 10 minutes, you're going to want to get a little more adventurous with your moves, with your workouts. And then before you know it, it's 20 minutes a day. And then you're switching things up, but you're accustomed to doing it every day. So it's almost then weird when you don't do it. So instead of taking off 5 days a week, right? Now maybe you're only taking off 2 or 3 days a week and you're working out 4 or 5 days a week and you're freaking killing it,
That's an interesting concept. It's kind of the reverse for what I do with healthy eating, but I think it works better with exercise to do it the opposite, which is like, because you're right. Like if you aim high and shoot low, you're still going to get a couple days a week, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I say I would never tell somebody to work out 6 days, an hour a day, right? Especially a new exerciser, it would never work. Right. But I could tell them, hey, do these 2 or 3 exercises for like 3 sets every morning, right? Yeah. Or have a leg focus one day, an upper body focus another day, and just do a couple of exercises, right? Because they're going to knock it out in like 5 or 10 minutes and they're going to feel like they accomplished something, right?
Exactly. That's huge. I talk about that a lot, about like building self-confidence. And it's not about like a number on a scale or hitting a certain rep, like, although those build and they help. The main thing that's building that confidence is you telling yourself you're going to do something and then actually doing it and following through with it. And that it's that pride in self that you can now feel like more confident going forward into adding to that and to doing more. So exactly. I love that. It's awesome.
And it's building that healthy habit, so you're on autopilot, right? I don't have to tell people, hey, brush your teeth in the morning, right? They just do it, right? So if you're just moving your body in the morning or stretching or whatever it is you're doing, well, now you're becoming aware, more body aware, and you're saying, I got to do something for my body every day, right? We've only got one body. We might as well take care of it, right? So,
yeah.
You
have to. I mean, you're talking to someone who's like, we get it.
I tell people sometimes, I was like, if you could have, if somebody gave you a car and they said, this is the only car you can have in your life. There's no trade-ins, right? You can't sell it. You can never get a new one. Think about how you take care of that car.
Seriously. Right? You know what's funny? I'm looking at my hair tie and this is so fun. Like when I have one hair tie left, I never lose the hair tie. But when I have hundreds of hair ties,
You just toss them around, right?
Literally, it's like I can never find one. But when I only have one left, like this thing, I take care of this one hair tie for so long. And it's
That's right.
You're saying that because it's so true. And the one thing that definitely gets me a little bit, I get upset when I see people not really taking care of their health and stuff. It's like you just said, when we wake up and we brush our teeth, like it's so second nature. It's important to us because, we want to have good teeth. Like, I don't understand why in today's society, eating healthy and exercise is an option. Like, it should be what you do. It shouldn't be an option. It shouldn't be like some people are healthy eaters and some people are not, or some people exercise and some people don't. To me, that concept alone is just why 2/3 of Americans are unhealthy, overweight, obese. Like, why we are having so many like epidemics of literally like childhood obesity, everything that's happening on, all these chronic illnesses that are directly related to our health, like heart disease being the number one killer of Americans. Like, that's mainly because of our diet and lack of exercise.
Absolutely.
It's all controllable factors. And it really, that's the thing that it just I continue to kind of always like, it always comes back to me. I'm just like, I don't understand why like we as professionals have to work so hard to get this message across.
Well, I think it goes to a lot of different areas. I think it goes into our healthcare system, and it goes into the media, right? Because doctors are not like, you go into a regular doctor, and it's unfortunate, but most of the time, like, oh, you have high cholesterol, I have a pill for that. Mm-hmm. You have high blood pressure, I have a pill for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're a little overweight, but don't worry about it, right? There's no prescription for exercise, right? There's not. I'm not covered by insurance. No. Right? And most great dietitians, right, like yourself, are not covered by insurance. Should be, but it's not. And if you think about if we shifted our healthcare system to treating disease as opposed to switching over to preventing disease, right? We'd actually, in the long run, save so much money. Think about how much one heart operation costs, right?
Seriously.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars, where that could be prevented with the proper care. The other thing is the media, right? Think about it. We'll see a beer commercial, right? And we'll see all these beautiful women and beautiful men and just hugging up, loving on each other, right? Drinking beer. Well, now we affiliate what? We affiliate drinking beer with pleasure, right? So we go to a bar or we go out to have this pleasurable experience because we've created the association in our brain with drinking is pleasurable, right? When in fact it can ultimately hurt our health, right? Same thing. You watch a McDonald's commercial. How many McDonald's commercials have you seen where the people in the commercials are obese and unhappy? Never, right? You see healthy, happy kids and adults, right, eating their McDonald's and their Burger King. So again, people are looking at this commercial and affiliating this unhealthy food with pleasure, right, as opposed to pain, right? I have people in my family who unfortunately have died of heart disease. And so I affiliate this unhealthy food with pain. But for most people, they affiliate it with pleasure. Same thing. I know a lot of very intelligent people, right, who smoke cigarettes, right? They're affiliating in that moment. They want instant gratification, right? So there's that whole short-term pleasure, right, thing. But we have to associate something with pain before we stop. If every time we think of a cigarette, we think of lung disease or heart disease, we won't smoke anymore. If every time we think about eating unhealthy food, we affiliate it and we associate it with heart disease and obesity, maybe we don't eat as unhealthily, right? But we've got to create associations in our mind towards pleasure and pain. And our media is not helping us right now, and neither is our healthcare system. And that's why most of our society is overweight and unhealthy.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever, right, our mortality rate is going down, right? Our life expectancy is actually getting lower. And our children are getting more and more unhealthy.
Yeah. So it's really sad. It's really unfortunate. But thankfully people like you are helping so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you.
Trying. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's definitely good. I feel like I was going to ask you something and it just slipped my mind, but I don't know. All right. Anyways, is there anything else that you wanted to add or talk about?
No, I think, I think we touched on a lot of great stuff. I think the biggest thing that I could say again is, we're not creatures of intellect. We're creatures of emotion. And the most powerful emotions we have are pleasure and pain.
Yeah.
And if we want to make a change, right, we've got to create affiliations in our brain. Affiliate exercise and eating healthy with pleasure, not pain. Mm-hmm. And we'll do it on a more consistent basis. We'll start getting healthier habits. And that's my 2 cents for you.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think that's where it brings back to your point is why working with like a trainer one-on-one, they can modify and create a workout program that is pleasurable. So it's not something that's like killing you every time and like it's challenging you and putting you outside your comfort zone a little bit, but it's not too much. And together you can explore what works for you. And same thing with your nutrition. Like you don't just like, raw fruits and vegetables and with no seasonings or flavorings to be healthy.
That's right.
You can find ways to eat healthy that way it's sustainable. So
And believe in yourself because you can make changes. You can do it. Love the skin you're in, man. Wherever you're at right now, it can be better, a little bit better every day.
I love that. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. It's been an awesome time. I love the conversation. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can email me at fitnessjourneys@gmail.com.
Okay, and I'll put it in the show notes.
That'd be amazing.
I'll link your website there and your Instagram as well.
Cool. Thank you so much, Toni. This has been great.
You're welcome. Great talking to you.
All right. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
How awesome was that episode? So many powerful things. I really hope that you took something away from that. If you did, please share this on your social media. Tag me, tag Jason. Let us know that this resonated with you and it impacted you in a special way. Share this with somebody that you know. Please, if you are not subscribed to the podcast, please subscribe, write a positive review. It helps people find the podcast, which basically allows our message to get out there to more people to inspire them to commit to healthier living. So as always, thank you so much for listening. This is Toni Marinucci, your registered dietitian. Tips with Toni, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.